All right, my friends, this is we're going to call it a makeup graduation show. My camera's all messed up. And yeah, Christmas happened, yada, yada. The good news is I think I can do everyone in one day because due to Christmas, not as many people hit the graduation button. We're busy doing their chess, I guess, which makes today a little bit easier and a little bit more fun. I believe at around 2, Kostya's coming in and is gonna do the blitz. We gotta do an emergency dojo talks, dude, about Magnus. That dude's blowing it big time, dude. Jesus Malesus. Blowing up the chess world for no reason, buddy. What are you doing? What are you doing? All right, let's start off because no one's even here yet. Let's start off with the sensei question here. What is the sensei question? What is your opinion of correspondence chess? Is it useful for training or a possible replacement for any dojo task? Also, what about Chess 960? A classical game of this variant, would it count for this tasks? Oh, those are hard questions, honestly. We were just talking about it. Honestly, I'm a little stumped on this one, man. Part of me is like, if they do it right, it doesn't matter for either of those, but the correspondence chess is full of cheaters. And the Chess 960, I don't feel there's a culture of that yet. Anyways, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to wait on that question. I'm just going to wait on it. I'll just sit on it a second, you know? I'll just sit on that bad boy. I don't have to decide right away. All right, Skebix, high quad XE. So let's begin with time tracksler. As you can see, we're looking at this. We only have 13. Usually we have like 30. And that's why I got to split it up into 2 days because my eyes can't take it. But today we're going to do everybody. Time tracksler says, I know this is the first of many, but I need to appreciate each and every graduation. Thank you. Okay, great. Now, let's click on Ye Old Time Tracksler. Adult learning, trying to get better fast to teach my 4-year-old son. As with all kids, he's learning too fast for me to keep up. Okay. Yeah, great. Now the first things we'll say, Time Tracksler, is, well, let's just see actually. If we go dojo points, yeah. Basically, Time Tracksler has just got here and hasn't really done much yet. And that's okay. Let's see clubs. Okay, Chestnut E-Board Club. Okay. This is pretty amazing, actually, because Time Tracksler just began and is already on this new wave of the e-board, which I think is great, man. I think it's great. That's a real commitment. Games. Oh, we do get a game. I was thinking maybe we wouldn't have a game. Here we go. So this is a 1510. We'll go over here. And let's see first, is there a heat map? No heat map. All right, so now we're going to go game review. And then we'll go over here. We'll take a look. Now, first mistake, he's talking about openings. He's talking about openings. All right, so there's some big problems with this annotation, and that's okay. This is your first of many, and also first of many graduation. So right away, I can tell that you've done some opening work, not what we want you to do right away. And also I can see that you turned on the computer in a hectic way, right? So these things are not going to help you at where you're at, right? Two things. First, the openings, trust us. It's not time yet. We'll tell you when it's time. A lot of people think that the dojo says you can't study openings. That's just not true. It's just that we say you shouldn't study the openings until later. The other important point is we don't want you using the computer until you've really thought about it yourself, right? Because otherwise, it's just nonsensical. All right, E3, A3, terrible. This is what we mean by not studying openings. So if you just think about the position in terms of principles, then you would say to yourself, oh, right, it's obvious. It's either this one, or this one. That's it. Those are your moves, and you don't even have to think about it. And if you had in your head knights before bishops, you just play knight f3, and the game would continue. All right, A3. And what we're seeing is, well, first of all, what we're seeing is when you play these chumps, they're going to be moving developed pieces twice. So in the same way you lost a tempo with A3, black is gifting you a tempo with knight E4. Okay, so the best move according to the computer is knight takes E4. Okay, your move, fine. G6, okay, good, good. And now this is a mistake. Now I play knight E5, a standard move, but I am not sure that this was the ideal time to play the move. By the way, I'm sure you played this online. And when you grab the PGN, that's just the score, wherever you grab from, whether it's Elite Chess, Chess.com, whatever, you can grab the time stamps with that, and that would give us a time graph, which would help us understand a move like knight E5. So, again, in terms of opening principles, what you want here is to get your people in the game. So I would say just in terms of principles, this move, rook b1, looks good. You could also, though, play a move like c4. Fine, right? e4 is a little weird, but even possible with the idea of bringing the rook to develop over here. Okay? But knight e5, it's not a developing move, not helping your people. Snip, snop. We'll get his big old trade. f6, kind of interesting. Okay, so he gets his rook involved. All right, you should play c4 now. Let's see what you do. f4, totally weird. Okay, after rook f6, you say, at this point, I am realizing that I've given away the initiative to my opponent, and he is now creating serious counterplay. But he's not doing anything to your coconut here. Your coconut's well defended. What you need to do is get your people out. So again, like rook b1, c4, something like that. Activate. f4 does nothing. And then this is a blunder because he misses bishop g4. Now, one of the key things at this level is I can talk forever about developing moves, tempo, yada, yada. Just get me started and I'll just hum that train, okay? But far more decisive will be people hanging stuff. Now, it would be interesting to know how fast are both players moving, because the way these games are decided in the under 1,000 cohorts is somebody hanging something. So right now, for example, you're hanging this pin. And the problem with you finding with the engine is you're not giving yourself time to see it. So the idea of what we call the blunder games, you know, these faster games, is just to look for these basic blunders. That's the basic thing that we are doing. Chess with Samart says, your thoughts on Carlsen quitting? Well, dude, we're going to do a podcast on it soon. I think that it's really bad form, and it's a lot like the Niemann situation where dude lost and then blamed it on everything around him. Right? Blamed it on everything around him, dude. And we can argue forever about FIDE not having done what it did, and fine. But that's not what it was about. It was about Magnus's way to piece out of the whole situation, right? And then if you put it into a bigger historical context, first Fischer, then Kasparov, and then Carlsen couldn't take losing, and also had to have it their own way, and then ruined the world championship. Ruined it, dude. And so here we are. Just chess fans dealing again and again with these prima donna fools who can't take it and then ruin everything for everybody else. Amazing. Okay. So, by the way, rook f3, I want to stress, you should see also that in addition to the tactical problem, your rook isn't actually doing anything over here. It's not doing anything. You need to get these bad boys involved. Okay. So rook f3, black misses it, no comprendo. Now he just hangs his pawn. Thank you very much. And then you take. Fine. Fine. And now queen f3. Queen f3 is probably fine. Queen h5 looks pretty hard to meet too. Queen d4 would also be a fine move. Queen f8, terrible. Of course, got to play queen d7. Snip, thank you. King h8. Snip. Oh, we're just taking. I'm happy with this. Happy with this. Take it all, son. Take it all. Inaccuracy. Queen e2. Now, again, the computer's not helping you. And the thing just humanly to see with queen e2 is you're just setting yourself up into a slightly messy situation. Plus, it's passive on e2. Okay, now we got to come up with something. You play e4 check. It's not check. He comes with a check, excuse me. And now I like queen f. Well, it's a little bit hard now, actually. Here, snip, bring the rook in. Oh! Mistake. I almost regretted this move as soon as I made it. I was trying to protect my pawns, but took my rook out of the defensive effort, leaving my queen alone to do the job. Now, I'm going to rephrase that and say your rook is completely passive, completely defensive on a2. And you need to be active. So 1, 2, 3. Those are your active choices right there. So this is where this best move garbage doesn't help. Because the moral of the story is to keep the rook active. Snip. Now it's getting a little sad. Queen f3, and then he's got boom, boom, boom. But listen, this is totally the wrong takeaway. But this game highlights some serious issues for me when playing the Lyubava. No. It says nothing to do with the London or the Schmunden. Oh, no. Okay. So that is my advice. Stop looking using the engine. That's most important. Forget about the opening. Learn to play principled moves. And what will take you to the next level will be not hanging stuff, right? So 3 things. I say this in all the under 1,000 graduations. Most important, to stop hanging stuff. There's a variety of ways to stop hanging stuff. Annotating your games is big, right? Polgar mates, for example, are going to give you a grip on the board. Number 2, slowing down, taking your time. I have no idea what the times were here. My general suspicion is usually that people are moving too fast. And number 3, winning time, not giving it away, right? And part of that lesson is not studying openings, because if you study openings, you're not going to be involved in how you think about tempo. Okay. I'm going to allow Shiro to say what he says here. Yeah, he's kind of playing my tune here that Magnus was crying. Okay, so here we go. Great, though. Good. Very good start. I can complain forever. I can complain forever. But for a first annotation, beautiful. Okay, so let's go back. We'll go grad show. Boom. And next up is Soph. Soph doesn't say. Only the ones that have a little plus here have something to say. Let's go click on Soph over here. So we'll give Soph a follow. That's amazing. This post-mortem thing is available. It looks like she started and basically beginning of October. Took a little break in here. Is up to 600. Beautiful. And has done one tactics test. Did very well. And then otherwise, the other metrics of tactical skill are precisely her level. Okay, that looks good. Clubs. Toronto, Canada. Lots of Canada. Okay, great. Look at that. Toronto, we have 19. I want to go back to Toronto. I had a good time. It's been a while. I played Canadian Open 2005, I think it was. Or was it 2006? Anyways, it was not Toronto. It was outside. It was like a suburb called Kitchener. That's where it was. Okay, let's see if Soph has a game. We do. And SSGL fee. I don't know. It probably stands for something I should know. Do we have a time graph? Oh, well, my friends, we got to look at it. The first yelling session of the day. The first yelling session of the day, my friends. Yeah. Well, read it and weep. So, well, we see this every show. And what we'll say, it's important to just repeat it, is that as you move up the ladder, if anything, you will have trouble with using too much time. But at the very beginning, and especially in the under 1,000 cohorts, and especially the games played online, we see way too much of this. So people are not going to be thinking when they're moving, and that's going to create impulsive decisions. And already at this level, we're dealing with people who are hanging their stuff, and moving too fast is just going to help you lose stuff faster. Okay, so boom, speech over. Let's get into it. So far, okay. Fine. Castles, mistake. So we're hanging a pawn. They should probably take on d8 first, so that if you took back with the rook, knight e5 would touch the f7 coconut. And now we get another mistake, allowing you to steal the pawn. Now, guys, look, all of these things, if they had spent a little time, it's not going to be like this. Okay, both sides moving furious. Okay, now, this is a mistake, and this is an instructive mistake. There are situations where the two pieces will be as good as a rook and a pawn. But those are positions where the board is wide open and, we have maybe a passed pawn or two running, and the rook's amazing. But here, look what happens. Now the black minors, it's their turn, right? The minors are the bishops and knights. And the king has been really well developed too now. Stands great on f7. Knight f6, I don't like it. The knight's already doing something. It's time to bring out these people. What's the most natural move? Knight c6. Okay, fine. Good. Weird, right? So they're worried. Actually, it's understandable. They're worried about their pawn. I think the bishop would be trapped, but let's just leave that detail. Rook d8. This one I like less, but for we're going to call it highfalutin reasons. In general, we don't want to trade the rook, but for where we are, we're just going to leave it. Yeah, rook f2, rook d1 was better. Knight f6, good move. c4, I don't know. Let's bring the knight in. c5, okay. Let's bring the knight in. There we go. Passive, poor. And now bishop g4 looks hard to me. Let's see what happens here, h6. So look, you spent 27 seconds on this move. And here's actually the time to really start thinking, how can I hurt white? Still, it's not completely over. You have a great position, but we still have some work to do here. King, okay, I'm not sure where white's going. g5, I'm not thrilled, but okay. g3, that looks like a mistake, and now actually bishop g4 to f3 is stunning. Let's see if you find it. Rook h8 and king g2. So this is maybe also good, but let me just share how powerful this is. Bishop G4, Bishop F3, and we have an incredible, we got the mating pattern of all time now, my friends. Let's mate. Checkmate. Checkmate. So look, notice G3 was a very committal pawn move, and Black played Rook H8 in 5 seconds. 5 seconds. There's no rush. There's no what? Nothing. That looks like, well, yeah, I guess they're surviving there, see? Now, is it true, though? I think King, well, here again, so Bishop F5, you played it pretty quickly. You're allowed to think, and here let's just share that this is a cool pattern. Bang! And no matter where the rook moves, checkmate! Checkmate! Now, one thing I'll tell you is that the Polgar mates will help you see these patterns. The second thing, though, is, and this is actually more important, if you slow down, you have a much better chance of finding these patterns. All right, G4. Okay, now Rook H3 check looks good. Good move. Good move. Check to the miserable king. That looks fun. Now, Rook G1, though, would trade off your rook. Doesn't see it. Good move. Check to the miserable king. There we go. There we go. All right, great checkmate to end the game. And one final thing I'll end on here is I mentioned earlier the highfalutin idea that white wants to trade rooks. And here you can see it. Because with Rook G1, you'd have to trade the rooks, and you lose so much of that dynamic power, whereas white now will maybe have a chance to survive with this kind of counterplay. Okay, but well done. I've got a delicious, you know what I got for Christmas, dude? I got a frother. That's right, a milk frother for just, I mean, you can do anything with this frother, buddy. Can you have yourself a really nice coffee? Oh, man. Stunning. Stunning. You got a frother going on, I'll tell you. Okay. Congratulations, Soph. All right, next up is Dotneb, who I remember from other graduation shows. I'm going to try to hit that grad show button before I go to the next screen because I know it's disorientating. And there you see Dotneb there. And they also kind of took a break like Soph right in here. But otherwise have been doing, we're going to say Dotneb is particularly doing a lot of tactics. 627. And kind of cool, their tactics rating is higher than their cohort rating, even though you can tell when somebody scores a 68 on our tactics test, it usually reflects the fact that they were just like, this is too hard, this is dumb, I'm not used to this UI. We're trying to make the UI a little bit more friendly. David Pruess is in the chat. He should talk to me. He should talk to me, man. Maybe he is. Hold on. Can you announce once for people that the Rapid Tournament starts in 20 minutes? They can find links through the Dojo Club on ChessCom. Cool. Let me just write back to him. Cool. Are you gonna do commentary? And so I'm gonna just grab this thing over here. And I'm also gonna post this link on our Twitch. So this is gonna start in 20 minutes, is the Chess Dojo Saturday Rapid Tournaments. Okay, so here we go. This is Dotneb cruising with his tactics. Adult Improver, great. Let's just look at that activity. Lots of tactics. Let's click it. What is this big red thing here? Everyone's first chess workbook. Great. Done a touch of mate and twos. Some mate online tactics tune-up. Okay, I'm making a big plea for 4.0 that we get rid of this tactics tune-up thing. What a confusion. All right, games. I fought bitterly. I had a bitter war on that one. Okay. So, here we go. This is .neb over here. Bang. Boom. Now, .neb says testing something other than the comfort blanket than is the Caro-Kann C6. Let me tell you what your comfort blanket is, my friend. Your comfort blanket is all these names. Caro-Kann, this thing, that thing. No, forget about it for a second. Just try to do principled moves. I know you think I'm crazy when I say it. So, do we got a time graph? Oh, see, this is what I'm talking about. Look at this time graph, my friends. Now, the good news is .neb at least thought for longer than his opponent. Yeah. Let me stress, I yell at people for this, and it's important that I yell at them. But I think what I want to stress is some things in chess are harder to learn than others. And what this has taught me, the fact that it's so hard for people to move slower, is that the process of just calmly thinking in a chess game that, higher level players can do and sometimes think too long, that is a muscle that takes some time to develop. And it's not just about thinking, it's about mellowing the F out. Because when you're online and some clown, like you're playing this guy, Dirk or whatever, he's playing super fast and you're like, oh, dude, I'm all jazzed up. Let's go. I want to play some opening, man. No, slow it down. This guy Dirk is going to hang something, and then we're going to take it, and then we're going to win. We just got to slow it down to see it. All right, speech over. All right, so here we go. Fine. This is generally considered by theory, if you want to get theory, is that this is considered a mistake due to that trick, but this is okay. Fine. Poor. Why is it poor? Because it's not developing. Castles. Bishop g4, fine. Knight f3, now you're up a tempo. Knight d4, now you're doing great. Let's take it. Actually, knight takes f3, very good. This is actually your longest thing so far. 47 seconds. You got time, man, you got time. All right, king h1, that ain't it, as we like to say. That ain't it. And you've got a variety of moves. King h1, yeah, there's a little bit of cleverness to it, I suppose. You can do a variety of things. You play bishop h5 in 45 seconds. And you write that you didn't see the combination of knight h2. Okay, now, in addition to knight h2, pawn takes, knight takes, or knight takes, maybe that looks like a computer move to me. It looks great, but even you don't have to be that complicated, because you could just say, oh, okay, thank you very much, right? You don't have to be complicated to win a chess game. Okay, so again, one more time, it is about taking it easy. Just relax a little bit. All right, okay. C6, I kind of like it. It's a little upsetting that we don't have anything more concrete, but I like that you're keeping the knight out of d5. Okay, maybe fine. b5. Snip, snap, here. And now you have a good move. Well, how good is it? You play rook a8. Okay, I think I'm okay with this. Just to note, something you should think about is c4, snip, snap, snook, and snark. And the point would be that you're going to win e4 as well. We don't know where the rook's going yet, but you're going to win e4, and you have a nice game. Okay, so rook a d8. Rook G1 looks superficial. Now we play C4. Thank you, son. Now Rook G1, the guy played in 15 seconds. This is what I'm saying. They're not thinking. Thank you. That isn't it. You got a number of good moves. And you right, knight e8 would have been better, but bishop g6, fine. h6, a little frisky, but okay. Just as long as you move your king. I prefer h7 a little bit more because of that. Okay. And now you should really be trying to trade queens, like with a move like queen d4, just to make your life easy. That's all. No one knows. Good move. Okay. No one knows. Rook, queen d2. I like rook g4 too. Queen a7. Check to the miserable king. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Snippos, hippos, and crippos. Very nice. Okay, so simplelessons.net that will help you progress. Forget about the openings for a second. Just try. That's the comfort blanket I want you to rip off yourself. Okay? Because you think you understand something with these names of these openings, and what we really want is to start getting a principled sense of the opening. Right? So what do we mean? We mean your opponent's going to lose time with some move like knight g5 because that's what they're doing at this level. And when they do it, you say, oh, Kraai says this is probably a mistake. And if you were going to play knight g5, you say, oh, Kraai says I shouldn't do it. I'm going to hold back. Principles. That's what we're talking about. Okay. Melt Like Butter says, hey, I don't get it. You are telling to think in a chess game, but I don't know what to think about. Well, let's go over here, for example. There's a lot to think about in this position. You know, we could play bishop f3. We could play knight f3. Now, honestly, if my opponent played king h1, I'd be surprised. I'd be like, okay, maybe I didn't even see that coming. But before we take away these arrows, there's a lot to think about here. There's a lot to think about. Can I move the knight somewhere to attack the queen, like knight h2? Even a move like knight d4 looks pretty interesting. So that's what I'm saying. I raise the curve. Of course there's something to think about. This is complicated. This is hard. Yeah. You know, I don't know. Even that looks, I might be able to do that too. Might be able to do that with the lady coming to h4 is something to think about. Quad's asking about anybody from the 6 to 900 cohort. We got a couple people like that. Let's go check it out. All right, so back to El Grad Show. Boom. And we go boom. And this is W Reds. And actually, did we read Oh, wait, I'm sorry. I didn't read .neb's spiel here. Still going to the local chess club, Club d'Échecs de Longueuil. Did I say it good? I know I didn't, and you're going to say, you can't speak French, Kraai. You shouldn't even try. Every Tuesday, still playing at 3 to 4 games. My rating at the club stays around 1,200. I've become a pro chess player. There was the yearly rapid tournament at the chess club, and I won $10. Winning money at something instantly makes you a pro. Not a ton of players can say they've won money, so clearly I'm doing something right. I won the prize of the most improved under 1,300 player out of 30 players who entered the tournament. I was second to last with a rating of 1144, got paired with a pretty strong player and won. Was under pressure in the beginning, but he kind of got greedy, maybe thinking he'd be an easy win. I was able to win and take the match. Great. Ended the term in 19th place, my rating shooting to 1220. Been keeping up with the program, but I've neglected tracking things, entering activities, especially the daily tactics training or Chessable reviews of everyone's first chess workbook. So my heat map for this period feels a bit lackluster for this graduation, but I've been putting the reps in. Received my Chess Up 2 board just in time before holiday vacations. Nice. Looking forward to play a bit more OTB while connected to ChessCom. Cool. You know what I'm going to do? I'm just going to Google this real quick. I think this is one of these various e-boards. I am really a boomer when it comes to these things. It's the Chess Up 2 Smart Chessboard. Cool. And it looks like, I mean, one of these things you hook up to Lichess or something, and then boom, boom, you're going. Really, actually, and one of the things I'll say about using your time is I can tell you for sure when I look at the time graphs of players who play OTB versus online, the online people are playing way faster, right? And it's part of it is definitely like if you let your mind wander for just a second, and your mind will wander during a long game, you're gonna check your email, you're gonna check your Twitter, whatever it is. And then because of that, your mind is like fight or flight. It's like, I'm just gonna move, man. I'm just gonna move, and then you're all in. Then you don't have to be, distracted. Okay, we're gonna go back to WRedX over here, bang. There's WRedX, also doing a lot of tactics. And let's give him a follow. Up to 734, looking good. Has done some tactics tests, checkmate tests. Probably needs some help with ye old Polgar over there. Okay, clubs. Let's get a club, WREX. Tell us something about yourself. Here's some games. Actually, I want to check also the tactics, because they were doing a lot of tactics. Everyone's first chess workbook, the main thing. Looking good. All right. So this is WRedX. All right, let's take a quick look at the time graph. Now, we will definitely see a lot of time graphs when we go up that are still abysmal, but we might, it's not always, but generally as I progress up the ladder in the under 1,000 show, we get more and more that look a little bit more decent. Now, these people are also moving way too fast, but at least you can see that they were thinking a little bit, right? All right, game review. Skebix likes the Evo board. Nice. Here we go. Fine so far. Okay, good. Good. Okay, snip, snap. And now you played knight g4. Working to dislodge white's bishop from the center. Now, this is important. Knight g4 is losing a tempo. Not only is it moving a developed piece twice, but it is kind of offsides over there, right? So the moves you should consider from a principled standpoint, okay, are g6, just followed up by bishop g7. You could say, Kraai, I'm worried about him doubling my pawns. Forget about the pawns. More important is time. E6 would be natural, but then indeed he could give you the true pawns of doom. And honestly, that position might even be playable, but that's too much for even me. That Irish pawn structure thing, I don't like it. But still, I wouldn't like it better than knight g4. Now, another move we could do is we could get frisky and castle long. Possible, right? We can wait for our development later. All right, so knight g4. White should definitely play bishop back. Snip, snap. Queen f5. Takes aim at two hanging pawns, you say. Now, I don't like it because you're moving a developed piece twice. I like e6. Now, queen f5, he can defend knight f3. He could defend with d4. Could defend with queen b3, talking to this one. So, from a principled standpoint, right, unless you're absolutely sure you're winning something. By the way, queen f5 played in 8 seconds. Unless you're absolutely sure you want to play e6, you play g6 too. I don't care. As long as you make some move to get this coconut in so that we can castle. Queen f5. Knight f3. e6. All right, now it's like queen b3 is a little worrisome. Knight d4. Mistake. We take the pawn. Thank you. Okay, now, castles. Good move. I think that's your best move, by the way. It's at 11 seconds, though. And let me say, that makes me worried. You got a second here. You got a second to think about this. One dirty thing we could fall into is rook b8, knight c6. That wouldn't be fun. We could also fall into b6, queen b5. Now, castles is frisky in the sense that we should be a little concerned that we're going to get hammered on the c file, but I believe that we have more than enough time to deal with it. a6. Now, you played it in a minute. Let me suggest the move bishop d6. It's a winning of a tempo. It's not just because we hope he falls into mate. It would be nice if he fell into mate. But also, it's a nice developing move that covers our c7 coconut. Good move. Bishop d6, okay. g3. Now we need a good move. Don't play king b8. g5. I don't know. All right. If I was going to make a pawn move, I think it'd be this bad boy right there. That doesn't do anything. Queen g7. Of course, queen f. By the way, look, why is queen f6 the move? Because you give him a question, and then you get to move again, and you want to move. Okay. Poor. You told me that you wanted to nail him, and you should. Notice, rook h5, h4 will develop your rook. So yeah, I didn't get that. Could he take on d5? I guess. Why not? Let's take. Thank you very much. Again, at this level, the way things are going to be decided is people hanging stuff. You will hang less stuff if you move slower. Okay, now we're doing some things. I like these things. Good. Good. And now let's bring our rooks in. Check to the miserable king. Okay, queen g4 also look good. h4, exactly. You put in that h4, great. Notice, the problem you're having is you're making these decisions too fast. I don't know if I get it. That doesn't do anything. All right, here we go. h4. Okay. So rook f8, and did he miss a chance with knight g6? This is the kind of thing I'd want you to be ultra careful with. The answer is no, but I don't know if either player saw this. You definitely need to see this. This is an example of the kinds of things to think about, because here you would have h3, and if snip, you got snop, and the snookers are snocked, and then if king here, you got snop, and the snookers are snocked. Now, he could play this, but we're going to win another pawn, and it's the end of the world. Okay, so rook f8. That wasn't it. h3 now. h3 is a really nice move. h3, good move. 11 seconds. 11 seconds, okay. Queen f7, 154. I mean, your position's going to be great no matter what, but I don't really understand why queen f7. Yeah, what do we do? Now, you can't be trading queens, buddy. You can't be trading queens. Boom. It's even worse than that. He finally resigns. Okay, so W red X. Most important thing, you're moving too fast, right? Moving too fast. Okay, here we go. Next up, we have Noah Manor. And Noah, I'm thankful that you use your real name. I feel like some of these things, I can't pronounce them. Let's just use our real names. Come on, man. All right, this is Noah Manor. Tell us something about yourself. Looks like Noah joined just like yesterday, literally yesterday. So we're probably not going to have anything here. Let's look. Clubs? Nope. Nope. No. Well, Noah, all I can say is welcome to the dojo. Tal Kuba is next. And let's click him. Talhuber, say something about yourself. Say something. Now, what are we doing here? He's done a lot of games and analysis recently. Before that, he was doing tactics. Okay, so 716 had a huge jump recently. He's done some tactics tests, and his tactics suggest that he is much better than his rating. Now, thesis. We're going to see if this is true with the games, but thesis. If your tactics are that much better, the main reason why you probably haven't gone even higher is because you're moving too fast. Thesis. We can check this if this is true. Clubs. North Texas. Okay. Games. We got loads. Here's Talhuba. Now this though was not super recent. Let's go over here. Game review. And I gotta say, let me just say this one, time looks fine. I can show it. Time looks fine. So my thesis is not correct on that one. Let's go back. Does hood rat stuff. This guy's in the dojo. Talhuber's, my thesis is incorrect. I take it all back. Well, there you can see he's playing one of these online chumps. You know, yeah. Let's see what we got. I'm just cruising through all this. Now, I take it completely back, Talhuber. I take it completely back. Thesis incorrect. Let's go over here. All right. So, grad show, game review, buddy. So the question then becomes, why is Talhuber not in a rating range closer to his, what do you want to call it? His tactical skill? Okay, E6, this is a known positional mistake. I don't know how big of a deal it is at this level, okay? But the whole thing behind White's setup is to get you to play E6 and then claim they're much better. We'll see if White understands how to play it, but the point is that this bishop is problematic after E6. Doesn't mean you're lost, just means it's problematic. Bishop D6. And now White makes a mistake, bishop D6. They should definitely play knight E5. Queen E2, good move. Bishop D7, okay. Knight BD2, and he got super frisky now with castles. Let's read what you write. I spent about 4 minutes, good, deciding on which side to castle. I decided on queen side because White's pawns and pieces looked like they were well positioned for attacking my king side. Thought it would be safer on the queen side while White shifted their pieces around. Now, very interesting. Yeah. So, one thing we can say about this position is you're right to be afraid, and that this whole business with knight e5 is going to be real nasty. And he's probably going to be better, too, when you castle long. But, this is I would give this kind of move a exclamation mark, like, oh, that's a frisky move. Let me just say, let's say castles. He can play castles or knight e5. A6, this would be a standard plan. Let's just put knight e5 on the board. B5, and our intention here is to get a little bit of counterplay at some point with b4. It's still a very rich game. Queen e7. Knight e5 was a good move, yeah. And you definitely don't want to play knight e5. Good. It's great that you thought for 6 minutes, too, over here on queen e7. Great. Good. All right. Now you go knight h5, and I don't like that move. Spent 7 minutes thinking what to do here. Really wasn't sure. White has some mounting pressure and initiative, but I didn't feel like I had a lot of great options. Okay. So, a couple standard moves you could make. Whenever you castle queenside, king b8 is not a dumb thing to do. The other thing that you're set up a little bit to do is to play at some point, maybe not right away, but this kind of thing, and then for f6. He should definitely not be playing this. No, 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 no. It really should just play g3. Now, let's pause for a second. Now, maybe there's even a better move than g3, but I just want to point out with g3 that we're saying, oh, buddy, look, your knight, you're going to have to move back, and then it'll be my turn. So in this position, it's your turn. In this position, your best move is to go back, and then it's his turn. That's the no bueno of the situation. Okay. So, oh, Marvis. Marvis says, it would be great if one could avail 1 month free Chess Dojo subscription using the code without having to enter hard cash pay info. Couple things. So, first of all, we're doing this great promotion for the New Year's resolution crew out there. So if you can, if you want to do a free month at the dojo, then, now's the time to do it. You can get that January for free. I think you can actually start now. It would be a month that we would give you for free to try it out. The code thing, what we discovered was people in Europe were having grief because a lot of people in Europe don't have credit cards, and just the way it was set up originally, it was like the debit cards weren't working. I think, I'm not the tech behind this whole operation, but I think we've got it sus now that you can use other things like Google Pay and that kind of stuff. Okay, so here we go. Knight h5, snip snap, queen e3. I'd say white spotted my forking threat. I was worried about white trying to some lateral move with their queen. Okay, so now g6. Is that throwing good money after bad? In a sense, you just need to say, oh, I need to move my knight back. Knight e5, fine. And now this is a weird move, queen e8. I don't get it. I think you need to be playing a move like king b8. It's a little bit like the threat's greater than the execution, right? Because look what you've done to your queen. Simple move, f6. That looks like a blunder. That doesn't look right anyway. And now he takes your bishop. And now, unless he has something amazing after taking your bishop, definitely shouldn't take the bishop. Just go back. Just go back. What are you doing, buddy? Oh, now look at that. And he develops your queen. So he got rid of your bad piece, and he developed your queen. Amazing. And now you go f5 and say, wanted to move my pawns forward since we had opposite sides castling, and again reduce white's bishop scope. Okay. I can get behind it a little bit, but notice that you're really giving up this square and making this pawn permanently backward. I think a much cooler move would be queen d6. And then maybe finally we'll play knight f4. I think their simplest move is g3. But then we can either go back or just play e5 directly with an interesting game. Passive. But I don't know what else we're going to do at that point. Now the advantage is passed to him. Now, what's the best move? Probably maybe like queen e5. He plays bishop b5. Actually, I take it back. Bishop b5 is probably fine. Now either a5 or a rook to c1. b4, a little weird. I don't know what it does. a6. This is a mistake played very quickly because the more you move over here, the easier it is for white to start creating a way to open your position with a lever. He goes back, f4, frisky, queen e5. This is very helpful to you because if he doesn't trade queens, you're probably going to get mated. So I don't know, putting the queen somewhere here or here, and then a5, b5, it's going to get, he's going to open you up, son. He's going to open you. So you got to say thank you there. We're still worse, but we don't have to resign anytime soon. Passive. Now, you did think for 3 minutes here. Personally, the basic thing I would like to do is play h6, g5. You could also bring your king up. a5, knight f5. My original idea for this move was to block the rook from chasing my pawn so I could advance them forward. Although I realized in a move or two that the pawns were well positioned and not in immediate danger. Okay. Notice even pushing those pawns, it's not really going to crush him. All right, b5. I think white's playing interesting play here. b5, I like it. Rook d6. b6, frisky. Now, the simple way for him to play, or them to play, is to snip and snap and say, look, I got that weakness, and I'm just going to stare at it all day long. Good move. Good move. Good move. Now you're totally fine, I think. Now look, h5. Why are we playing so fast? What's the natural move? King d7, threatening rook over. Now that worries me a little bit because I would rather play rook f8. That doesn't make any sense. Okay. And now we got a little choice on our hands. You play king e7 with 17 seconds of thought. Now, something I want to point out. When we do these game analyses, it is often the case that players will do their endgame analysis super fast. And maybe it seems to you like king e7 is just like, got to do it. It had to have seemed that way too because he played in 17 seconds. But the only virtue of king d6 is you're saying, oh, maybe I'll play e5. So the thing we want to look at here is e5. And there's a simple claim being made with this move. And by the way, I don't know what the truth is, but the simple claim is that if he trades rooks, then we are going to be better because this rook is much better than this rook. And then I guess the spicy variation is rook f7, snip, snop, check to the miserable king, king f1, and now a move like rook b2, threatening mate. Now, is this full Spice Girls? Yeah, it is, but it looked like something we should look at. Chess.com has started their own improvers club. Oh dear. Oh, do we finally got competition? We finally got competition? All right, so white goes passive. I don't understand king h3. e5's interesting. d5. And now you do this. I don't get it. You're playing way fast here. This is a big decision you're making with e5. Maybe e5's correct, but it's a big decision. Yeah. And now rook f8. Well, I'm definitely concerned. This seems like we have to investigate rook f8. We got to investigate that move. You know, that's the real question. Good move. Oh, I like that move. I like that one. That's a good move. Now, I think rook d2 is also interesting. Passive. Good move. King d4. Good move. King... Oh, let me just say, this is... Yeah. This is not what we wanted. King d3 is the move for sure. For sure, because then you're lining him up with this stuff. The issue with this move is dude, who, although he plays this in 3 seconds flat, could go check to the miserable king and here, and at the very least, we don't know. We don't know what's happening here. This is complicated. Because once he wins this coconut, it's scary. All right, here we go. Now you're winning, easy peasy. Fine. Very nice. Okay, so well done. I realized that was a game that you played a while back, and ideally, we would like you to have more game annotations. And you could see there's a lot to think about in these endgames. Now, by the way, compared to the people around you, You did not move too fast. I want to stress that. When I say just in your like cohort, right? And I don't have an immediate answer why your skill level seems like it is much higher than your rating. Like your tactics, and honestly, the game you played, I thought was well played. So my intuition is that your rating will continue to go up. And then I'm going to see you again in another show. That's what I think is going to happen. Yeah. All right, Skebix asks, for us that are not used to the whole analysis process, how long are we expected to take? I usually take double of the time of the original game. That's not a dumb thing. Like playing a game but asking myself if I'd play a different move, and those are my variations. That's definitely not a terrible process. It depends a little bit on your level, first of all. By the way, have you seen our book, How to Analyze Your Games? Oh, buddy. Let's go see if we got any new reviews of this book here. How to Analyze Your Chess Games. Boom. Oh, that's funny. I instead of typing it into Amazon, I typed it into AI, and it gave me a whole thing. So, ChessDojo, How to Analyze Your Games. Oh, we only have 6 reviews or 6 ratings. Give me a break. We need more than that, buddy. We need more than that. I don't know. I used to be able to get a link here, but I'll post a nasty link. This is not a clean link, but a nasty link in the chat here. Oh, I know. We got to get it on Kindle. I don't understand, dude. DM Oki was in charge of that, and I'm going to ask him again. Because I asked him, and it was just like, well, I don't know. I guess it's going to happen. But what's the holdup? What's the holdup? How hard should we pay someone to do it? You know what I'm saying? I think it's a formatting issue, I guess. I don't know why that's the case, though. I did a book, and it was very simple to put on Kindle. Okay, Tal Huber, you're doing great, bud. Next up is Strange Comfort. Boom. And Strange Comfort joined us May of this year, but just started going for it with the heat map and doing a lot of games analysis. Great. Tactics rating, also, we're kind of in the range they should be. Give them a follow. Clubs. Indiana. Okay. I think Indiana is one of the few states I've never played a chess tournament in. I can't remember playing a tournament in Indiana. Okay, here we go. Games. Grand Trier. Okay, well, this will be fun. Grand Trier is a big-time member of the dojo. Let's see if we can yell at people for clock times here. Boom. We're going to say mostly okay. And actually what we'll say is we're okay until about move 28. Now, sometimes somebody's up a piece and it doesn't matter. I won't yell too much. But other times we hit an end game and people are confused in the end game by what is there to think about. And they think the moves are obvious when in fact it's the most difficult time of the game. Oh, dude, I just reviewed in 60 Memorable Games, Fischer versus Botvinnik, or rather Botvinnik versus Fischer, 1962 Olympiad. What a game, dude. And an end game that, my God, fried my brain thinking about it. Fried my brain, man. Okay. So let's get into this bad boy here. Game review. This will be fun. It's a dojo battle. Unfortunately, Strange Comfort knows the name Perk Defense. Everybody's playing fine so far. And this is a standard way people think that this kind of deals with Bishop c4 from a theoretical point of view. Honestly, if Black had just castled, you're doing fine too. So, fair enough. c6. And you say, first move out of book. And he writes, I think this is a huge mistake to not develop, and d5 is still possible. I spent only 7 seconds on this move, and I think this is where things started to go wrong. Okay, now, this book thing, forget the book for a second, and tell us, I think what you should try to say is, well, with c6, I was trying to deal with this pawn, and I couldn't understand how else to deal with the pawn, right? Also, if you don't like it, tell us a little bit more, because let's say you castle and they castle. You still need to find a plan, right? You still need a plan. Personally, I think c5 is interesting with this kind of business. I assume we'll get the pawn back. Interesting position, something like that. But the main point is, you lost the tempo with c6. You had a reason. You had a reason. And your game's not toast here. You're a little worse. Fine. Maybe a little soft, but I understand c3. Fine. Now you make a big mistake. And let's read what you write. I'm just going to start by saying, WTF was I thinking? Oh, that's right, I didn't think. Well, you did think 2.5 minutes. I just moved. But I really wasn't calculating anything other. I was simply seeing if I could make f5 work. I saw bishop c2, bishop b3 coming. I thought bishop c2, then maybe I can go bishop e6. The following variations are what I checked, and I use that word in the weakest sense of the definition. Okay. So first things to understand is your position here is totally stable. There's nothing wrong with your position. And so 2 standard moves that should come to mind just from opening principles would be bishop g4, knight d7. You could probably even play bishop f5, right? But the bishop g4, knight d7 are the ones that come to mind first, make simple sense. You're not toast by any stretch, right? Nice. Alex Gustafsson got his copy, arrives tomorrow. Very nice. All right, so f5. And, when we make these mistakes, it's kind of interesting, what motivates us, And I guess, with bishop e6, I'm not sure, which I guess was your original intention. I don't know why you need f5. Maybe as well, one thing we could even talk about a little bit is you're terrorized by this bishop. He's destroying your soul. Right? That bishop's destroying your soul. So if you want to get rid of him, you could, I still don't like f5, but you could play something nasty like f5. Here, he's tormenting you so much that you're just like, oh, that thing's got to go. That thing's got to go. All right, bishop c2. Right. Knight d7. You say that's a mistake, but it's a little hard to know what else to do because bishop e6, he also has, in addition to, I guess bishop e6 is what you intended, probably what you should have done. Here, for example, bishop e6, bishop b3, you could play bishop d5, and maybe you're going to live to see another day, All right, so check. Standard stuff. We're going to lose the exchange. You play queen e8. I like knight f6 here. Just give it up. Knight e6. All right, knight f8. Okay. It's fine. Key 1. Knight d5. By the way, don't resign yet. Because c4 is already, he's clearly winning. But c4, I would say if somebody played c4 against me, I'd think, okay, I feel better about my chances now. I just got a little something to work with. Queen e2 is the most sensible move. I don't even know what you're going to do after queen e2. So now your bishop on g7, at least this has a target. I definitely like knight c7 better than knight b6 because I don't know where that knight's going now. Okay. Sad, but probably necessary. Now, I would play e6. I know it's ugly, but here I'm just trying to hold it together. Once we trade this, it's like our one good piece that we're trading off here. Finally, good move. Queen e5, simple chess. f4, I don't know. Okay, now, maybe. But I was a little suspicious of this d5. You played c5. I would be interested in snip, snop, c5. And what I just want you to see is, while it's true that you're lost, you are going to, mess with them a little bit. That's unfortunate. I don't know what he's doing. Okay. Knight d7. Okay. Good move. Well, now we're just toast. And now we can resign. Okay. So, rook e5. I think we should, in hindsight, we should say, well, probably rook c8. Right? Okay, you guys. Well done. You're facing the amazing Grand Trier. That guy has graduated numerous times. I hope you guys had a post-mortem afterwards. One of the great things about the dojo. We're running these amazing dojo tournaments, both an open classical, the round robin. Really great place to get good long games, as well as people matched exactly to your strength, as well as the non-cheaters. People maybe too who might spend a little bit longer on the clock than the random chumps online. Okay. By the way, I believe at the top of the hour at 2 is when Kostya's coming on to do the blitz. Okay, we're not done yet, right? We got Dryfo next. Ooh, fix it, buddy. Oh, wait. I blew it actually. Hold on. So, Strange Comfort. I didn't read your novel. This is a little bit of a new format that we have here with this pluses and minuses. So I might miss it sometimes. Strange Comfort says, I could say a lot, but I will stick to what I think is arguably one of the best aspects of the training plan. My biggest takeaway came when I was thinking through the dojo tasks and got to the checkmate tests. Like other online tactics puzzles, I assumed I could blow through it. Then I realized you have to not only move your pieces, but also your opponent's pieces. You would think this shouldn't be a problem, but I was quick to make the first good move I thought could work. That is where I realized my mistake. There is nothing to tell you whether it was right or wrong. To make matters worse, I still had to move from my opponent. I quickly realized I have probably never actually calculated more than 2-ply in my life. Right? I guess the point I'm trying to make is I learned to sit on my hands until I could see the whole tactical sequence. Immediately improved my tactics puzzle rush survival to 40. Amazing. Now the old habits still haven't died, but the change in mindset is finally showing up in my games. I'm choosing to graduate to be a little closer to my rating. I have 4-game tornado coming up, so hopefully that will reflect some of this work. Great. Great. Okay. So we just looked at Strange Comfort. I really like this. I kind of want to copy and paste it somewhere. Let's post it into the Discord. And I'm just going to grab some of it because I think this was inspirational. Let's post it into ye old Discord. Hopefully his name is Strange Comfort over there too. So if I go here, bang, and I go general, and I go boom, at Strange, there he is, Strange Comfort, bang. We're going to say wise words. Actually, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to tag Hello Kostya and D. Pruess. We worked hard, dude. We worked hard on that frickin' tactics thing, dude. I don't feel we didn't get the love either because it's hard, because it's a little bit new for people. They're like, I can't take it. I don't like it, Kraai. Take it away. I don't like it, waiter. Take this meal away from me. And we are going to try to make it a little bit more user-friendly. That is one of the next major projects that we have going on here. Okay, so here we go. Next up, we have Dryfo. Dryfo also has something to say. The completionist in me really doesn't want to graduate because there are things left over on the list. Fine. However, I know that the aim is to stay within the cohort range and move up when your rating tells you. I do think the speed at which players play at Lichess Classical does inflate my rating, but oh well. Take those points from them. Anyway, it will be nice to see the new materials. I do plan on going through all the 800, 900 games and reviewing the sparring positions as well, but I will combine that with my new cohort work. Anyway, I don't get to watch the stream live, but I watched the last grad show with my game in and was super instructive. Jesse, that's me, pointed time management as the priority to work on, which I have been doing. I also want to graduate now because I'd really appreciate if my last published game against Johnny Depp the Hero were to be looked at. We will do. I won't give it away, but while I tilted hard after, it was a super interesting game to go through. Without looking at the engine, I'm not exactly sure on what happened with it. Thank you, Jesse, David, and Kostya, for your hard work and insight. I look forward to seeing the stream VOD, and hi all, enjoy your chess. Beautiful. Let's go check out Dryfo here. And look at that, Dryfo's working, dude. Dryfo's putting in some work. That's what I like to see. The second that heat map was developed, Dryfo was on it, and what happened? He went up. He went up, and honestly, Dryfo looks like they could graduate again, dude. Yeah. Pure crushing. Now, Dryfo's tactics rating is definitely lower. Maybe he did these tactics tests a while back. All right, let's go look clubs. Chess Steps, Asian Dojo. Nice, Dryfo, tell us where you're from. Let's go games. And we have Johnny Depp the Hero. Let's give that bad boy a click. Now, first things first, let's go look at the time graph. And there it is. Dryfo made better use of their time than Johnny Depp the Hero. Johnny Depp the Hero, the first 20 moves, typical online chump, right? Not thinking at all. Okay, so let's go grad show. Okay, disappointing. Maybe he lost. Yeah, and I'll go through it. So let's go into this game. So far, so good. Fine, fine. A little funky, but it's fine. Fine. Okay. Rook e8, fine. Rook e1, okay. c6, good move. c3, okay. Snip, snap, queen e8. Little passive, but you're doing okay. Queen e1, rook e1. Okay, and now you're going to hit him with ye old g5. Now that the queens are off the board, I feel I can push the king side pawns. Okay, good. And we're going to get a really spicy situation here. Now, this one's hard for me to judge without thinking about it a little bit. And the reason is it's not totally clear to me that this pawn weakness that you have induced is that meaningful. And you have weaknesses of your own. So on this, I would say white has a small advantage because their rook is better, right? And white can always play g4, and it's not clear that just because we doubled the pawns that was great shakes for us. Now, we have played a little passively to get here, and we're still totally fine, okay? So b5, a little frisky and weird. Let's read what you write. Well, this is a move I should have done a while ago. I did not recognize the weak g-pawn, though, which I could have attacked. You're talking about knight h5. Now, I do want to say it. Knight h5, I don't think is a reason. I don't like it. First of all, you're enabling rook e8, which just scares the bejesus out of me. But even if rook e8 wasn't there, he just plays king f2. He wants to do that move anyway. Right? Now, what's weird about b5 is, like, if we wanted to move the bishop out, why not just play b6? A little safer. All right. a3. Look. So let's talk about it. This is a chump. He's just like, oh, man. He is just like, I gotta respond. And he thinks like b5 was a threat, and he's like, I'm gonna stop it with my a3 move. No, it was time for white to think about what's going on. Good move, I like that. King f2, good move. a5, okay. We might activate our rook. Okay, I think this is the most challenging move, even though I'm not sure I like it. Good. He takes with a pawn, frisky. Let's read what you write. Expected. I remember thinking hard at this position. I play knight g8, but I think there were other moves. I can reroute it to e7 then. Now, let's just talk about this position for a second. DE is a very ambitious move that maybe we can punish. The problem with this is that the pawn isn't going anywhere and could later become weak. Now, it's still an interesting question, though, because white can consider a move like knight f3 to d4. You're still talking about knight h5. Don't do it. I mean, even there, it might be okay, but you just notice that g4 is totally unnecessary for white. Just leave the knight there. Let it suffer there. Okay, now you played knight g8. Personally, I was thinking like knight d8's interesting. Knight f3, let's say, or b3. Let's put on b3. That's probably better. Knight c7. And if knight d4, we'll play bishop d7, threatening c5. And I think we're okay. Yeah, if knight c5 will have knight e6, I think we're okay. In some ways, I'd rather be black, but honestly, it's just a interesting position. All right, your position here should also be okay. Knight f3. All right, bishop b7. Now, one of the major questions here is, could you have shut the knight down with c5? Okay, so the point of c5 is not to, like, we're not saying I want to break with b. Oh, crap, you're hanging. See, I hung the pawn. I hung the pawn. So maybe better than hanging the pawn, Jesse, would be a move like bishop d7. By the way, superficial, because knight b3 has the same ability, but also has the added bonus. So bishop b7 looks incorrect, and bishop d7 now looks good. e6, I don't know. I don't think I like it. Now, we do have to avoid rook e8. fe6, rook e6. Rook e8, here we go. Okay. Now, one thing we want to say about this is previously on the show, I was saying that the pawn over here wasn't so big of a deal. But now, given especially what white has done by trading this pawn for this one, now it's suddenly the case that you have a majority on the queen side, right? All right, here we go. King e3. I don't know if this is going to do it for him. King e7, good move. King d4, king d6, and now he blunders. He must play what? He must play b4. Must. It's not even a question. Got to stop c5. And now we're winning. Thank you very much. Oh, buddy. Yeah, buddy. Okay, so now apparently Dryfo didn't win this game. It's very sad. It's very sad. If we look... It looks... Yeah, so here maybe I'm looking at the time graph again. He could have probably played a little slower at this point. This is definitely over. Good move. Now d4 looks good. Good move. Fine. Poor. I take the pawn. Thank you very much. GH. Now we can go knight d5. Good move. Knight f4. Good move. Now you're in complete control. Okay. That wasn't it. Thank you very much. Okay, so now we just have to have a little bit of care. I don't understand king e2. Okay. 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 Fine. And now you play knight d6. Okay. d3. That makes me a little nervous. Okay, so look. This move makes me nervous because you're giving this dark square away. So if I'm just like playing blitz chess, then this is the move I want to do, right? Another very basic move that I can do is just to go back, and then he's never messing with me, and then I go win the pawn. So what we do want to say about this, again, is a lot of times in endgames, people think that it is like the moves are forced or something. There's a lot to think about here, right? Why is it more complicated in the endgame? Because it's more concrete. It's less romanticism. There's a lot more number crunching going on here. And especially once you see an idea like here and then snip, snap, well, that's the one we want to do. Okay, so d3, king e1 makes no sense. King e3 would be the move. King f4. Now you have knight c4 check, picking up the pawn. You missed it. King e3. Okay, h3. Okay. And now here we go. Bishop b7, bishop h3. Okay. Now, this is the mistake, and I should have taken the piece and trusted I could get a mate with bishop and knight, even though it would have been tough, as I know it is an advanced mate. So here's a hilarious thing. A lot of people say, oh, I'll never get the bishop and knight mate, dude. I'll never get it. It happens. It will happen. And then it'll be really embarrassing if you don't know it. However, what we want to say here is you probably wouldn't have been able to do it. You know, in the dojo, it is really something we have in the, I think it's the 1400 and 1500 cohort. And, you know, by the way, it's something to learn later, not only for the practical reasons, but because you will learn square control. You know, that's what it's ultimately about. It's a lesson in square control. Okay, so the main things I want to share, though, is when you play bishop b7 and you miss bishop h3, let me stress that knight b7 should also be thought of. That's a little simpler, right? Because king e4 you run. Okay, so exclam. By the way, why is this happening? Because the dude got to e3, and he got to e3 because we pushed prematurely. All right, so now the dude should be okay. Now, what's funny about bishop f1 is you would then be able, with d2, to get the same endgame, but same endgame. All right, so we're going to get little tricks and flicks here. And now we're just going to run it out here. By the way, let me stress that this endgame, yes, it's technically a draw, but, but you play a move like king e3, yeah, you can work him. You can work him real good. And there's some interesting theoretical questions, too, about two bishops versus like a knight. I think that's, I wouldn't want to be the knight, bro. You know what I'm saying? But also just on a practical level, you can work a person here. So it's important to still keep your wits. Like you'd be upset, but you can still crush a fool in this position. Okay, well done. Let's move on to Timson. What does Timson got to say? I really like the dojo program so far, the division of the individual topics. I find games analysis, tactics, and games very good and motivating. I wanted to complete all tasks before moving on to the next cohort. I will still finish the book, Learn Chess the Right Way, because the book gave me a lot of good ideas. Conclusion, motivating and varied training program. Great work by the senseis. No, thank you. Let's give Timson a click. Timson's been doing it. Timson's playing a lot here. Graduated once before. Now he's out below 1,000. Let's give the clubs a click. Aus Deutschland. Yeah, I've been thinking, I lived in Germany ages ago, thinking a lot about it recently. This political stuff, yada, yada going on. Here is Timson playing black. And then we go pop. So first, time graph. No time graph. We'll mark this and then we'll go game review. It would be cool. Everybody, if you play, this is an online game, as I suspect it is, you can import your time. So, Queen d5, a little frisky. By the way, you're not, but now you see it's nonsense, right? Because the pawn on d5 is fine. Good. Note also, Bene, that the value of ED is your bishop attains freedom. That's why CD is not the greatest move by your opponent. Good. Okay. A little weird because you're inviting knight e5. Okay. Now like knight d7 is what we want. Okay, why don't I like knight d5? Because it's not developing. So what do we want? We want to move like knight d7. Good. I think this is okay. And now he took the knight, which is, I agree with you, incorrect. Okay. Okay. Boom, boom. Beautiful. Good move. Good move. You're doing fine. Okay, this I think is superficial, and they should probably play bishop f4. I think bishop f4 is a better try. Good move. Okay, snip, snap, bishop b7. Thank you very much. Now you're doing fine. Yeah, you're doing great. Bishop e3. And now the thing I really want to stress to you is to think about developing, aka activating this rook. And so the passive option is c6. Totally fine, because you could play rook d8 later. And the active option, which I think I prefer in principle, is c5. Just with the point that now if he takes, we're going to open up our coconut, right? All right, f6. Good in the sense that you're trying to activate your rook. I don't know what the rook's doing over there, though. Let's see what white does. Okay. There's actually, you know, the f6 move, I didn't like it at first, but I think now, especially, you could play fe, c5. Let's see if you do it. D8. So you just see, I just want you to feel my pain. I'm worried every move you leave this guy here. I'm like, oh, get him out, get him out. King f1. He's not trying to punish you, though. Rook d5. Okay. f4. f5. Too slow. You got to get your rook out with a move like c5. Rook c1. A little weird. Why not rook ac1? Bishop d8. Now rook c6. Boom. Here it's important to stress that you are now positionally toast. Okay, let's talk about it. You are positionally toast because the rook is out. King f7. King e2. b5. Good move. I like that move a lot. Maybe rook b6 next. b4. That doesn't make any sense. Rook b6. Boom, boom. So twice your opponent has freed you from your travails. Now, here I feel this is a mistake CB because dude can now penetrate, to c1, c8, which scares me, right? So I think a little bit easier for us would be AB. And then we're holding tight. Rook d7, rook c6, no bueno. He should play what? Rook c8, and then he's in. And he's in and looks like he has a nice game. Rook c7, good move. Snip, snap. Okay, now we have ourselves an interesting position. King d3, a5, good move. Poor move, ba, poor move. Really bad move. So, no puedo take. No puedo take. Look, we got a double. Both sides have their problems. This pawn is very difficult to actually move forward. And so White's dream is to create a situation where that's possible. White also has a problem that really long-term needs to prevent us from doing that. But big picture, we cannot allow these pawns to be undoubled. Now Black has real chances to just be winning. King e7, good move. King d7, good move. d5, frisky, doesn't do anything, take it, thank you. Here, and now this is interesting. By the way, this is a position to really think about. I think you're winning, but we want to be careful in this position. King c6, I believe in it. And now e6, and now you go bishop d8, which I like less. Are you winning this position? Absolutely. What would be the path? You got a couple moves. I like this one. I like this one. Bishop d8 scares me because this allows king e5. g6. I don't understand h3. h5. I don't understand e7. Thank you. Now, it's going to be time to run, Forrest, run. Now, you played b3. Not abysmal, but what I want you to see is if you had thought about it a little bit, you would see that d4 is a hell of a drug because now this bishop, no puedo come back. No puedo come back. It's run, baby, run. King f5. Now it's a little juicy. You should still be winning, but it's a little juicy. Yeah, I guess you're just winning. I guess you're just winning. Good move. You could still play bishop f8, but here, we're winning this thing. Snip. Great. Well done. Well done. That was good. It would be good to see the times. Great annotation. I like that you criticize queen d5, for example. I like that you criticize knight d7. Now, one of the things to share about this is, I think some of the other, maybe if you're watching this show and you know the names of some openings and you're under 1,000, you're saying, Kraai, what are you talking about? Look what Timson did. He's just playing chess and understands when somebody breaks the principles. That's it. That's it. And in fact, I would say of the 3 things that you have to do to break out of 1,000, learning to not give away time is the easiest. I did a course about this on Chessable. It's called It's About Time. I love that title. And the other 2 things, not losing material, much harder, slowing down, much harder to do. So there it is. Let's continue. Let me make sure no one's shouting at me at Yield Discord over here. Okay, so, boop. Next up is Shamant. What does Shamant got to say? Doing a lot of tactics. Doing a lot of tactics. But these tactics are not doing. Let's see what tactics they are doing. Shamant. Everyone's first chess workbook. Okay. All right. So, clubs? No clubs. Games? No games. Shamant, you know what I'm going to say. You need a game, bud. You need a game. Tactics are great. Tactics are great, but we need a game from you, Babus. Next up, we have the famous Lakrios, who is graduating all the time. Oh, Kraai, your grad show. You got to hit the wrong one. Lakrios says, 7th graduation. Still going through logical chess, but so far it's probably the most interesting read of the entire program. Got me to think a lot more about short-term attacking plans toward the king side. Many times it doesn't work because of some tactical oversight, but my knockout rate has definitely improved. I've slacked off on playing classical games, so I'll try to play at least one game every 2 weeks. That's a good one. On a side note, you did an awesome job covering the World Championship. Thank you. And congratulations on publishing the game analysis book. I know, Quad XC. But I've been getting better. Quad XC was the one who raised my rating. Look at that. I'll tell a story while we just pause and reflect on the epicness of Lacryos's heat map. I would say a couple months ago, my internet rating, computer rating was about, I'll give myself a 500. Quad XC said, buddy, you got to get yourself a Stream Deck mouse. And I said, I don't like to learn new things. I don't like new things. And Quad pushed and he pushed, and I got that bad boy. My internet computer rating is up to like 700 now, bud. Flying. Graduated like 2 cohorts. That's all it took, buddy. Lacryos, this is great, man. This is great. This is lovely. All right. Tactics rating through the roof. Really going well for his tactics as well. He's going to graduate again soon. Clubs, bring me some pizza. Games, let's go over here. He said he was slacking off, but this one, well, it was at least last month. Now, maybe we've looked at this, but we're just going to give it a little click here. Have we looked at this? No. Oh, he's playing a real chump. Look at that. Now, this is what we're saying. You play online, and you play these chumps, and they can't think. It's something they're not ready to do yet. And this guy's rated 1962 in Elite Chess. That probably means they're, I don't know what it means in Elite Chess, but in any case. All right, game review. Good move. Fine. B3. Why is B3 weird? Because the bishop on C1 has already had a pawn move made for it. Good move. Good move. Good move. Good move. Poor. Okay, so it's poor because the knight has no future on H4. And so you got a couple interesting decisions here. I'm going to say that your move is okay. So now when he takes, he develops your business. Good. All right. Knight D7. A little frisky. This is the first move you've made where I feel like you're neglecting development. So a couple moves that come to mind. Rook A8 is just going to be useful, and E5. And you might even be able to switch the move order of those moves out, i.e. you could play Rook D8, then E5, right? Okay, so I suspect you miss White's next move, which is pretty good. That's a pretty good move. Because now notice they fix their business and protect the pawn on D4. Good move. Poor. What is he doing? What are you doing, buddy? What are you doing? Now, it is true that he needs to be a little careful about the D4 pawn. That's true. But Rook B1, it is not. Now, it's an interesting question for him, who's not thinking at all, really, about what's going on. I think G4 is interesting. Here, I think that's a queen trap, I think. And queen D5 loses to knight F6, so you got to be cruising and losing over here. And then at the I don't know, it's just getting a little frisky for this queen, a little frisky for the queen. Still, this isn't it. All right, now I want you to play something like E5 or knight to F6. Let's see what you did. E6, what? Maybe wanting to support an eventual E5 without disrupting the pawn. What are we doing? What are we doing? No, you need to unmask the rook. That's why you put the bad boy there. Another move is you play knight CE5, but if we were going to do that, why not play this one? Why not that one? You got to open up the rook, bud. It's time to open up the rook. That rook needs to get opened. All right, e6, no intendo. c3, passive. Notice that if he wanted to play c3, he should have done it the last move. All right, so now knight e5. Now it makes less sense, though, because if we'd done it previously, let's say we go back here. Now the queen's in a little bit of a jam. On queen e2, I take here. Bam. So it's hard for white to break it. Whereas here, I don't know if we're doing anything. Queen e2, knight g4. And now I'm concerned. You're going on this journey over here. For a good 2 minutes, I thought I was toast. Then I noticed that after his knight capture, I would fork his 2 minors. You're still toast, though. It's still absolutely gone. So queen a5, bishop f5, bishop f3. Maybe. I don't know. Bishop h3 looks great. And then you get this coconut. They get that coconut. Okay, spicy situation. So, this whole thing that they did, by the way, with bishop f3 and bishop e4, they did it without thinking. And this bishop c6 is also pretty fast. What's the drama with this whole thing that he's doing? That knight was terrible. It was dominated by the c3 pawn. That bishop was amazing. So yeah, he wins a pawn. Congratulations. But now we got some activity. I don't like it. Why are we pinning ourselves? Just go here, buddy. Rook fe1, okay. Rook there. Oh my gosh, it's getting hot. b4. That looks like he's hanging his coconut. Thank you for the coconut. Now notice, look how passive he is here. Rook c6. All right, you played rook c2. That's a good move. Great move. Bishop c1. Bang! That's it, baby. Welcome to the dojo. That's what happens when you're moving too fast, you chump. Loftefuss. Loftefuss the chump. Yep. Loftefuss the chump. Bang. That's rook c2. That's simple. Simple chess. Simple chess. Simple chess. Simple chess. Simple chess. Simple chess. Okay. King f7. King e6. Oh, take it easy. Take it easy, bud. They don't resign. Okay, they finally resign. Great game, Lacrios. Lacrios is going up, dude. Lacrios is going up. Let's just look at this rating here for a second. They're already, actually, he didn't quite make 1,100. Maybe he made it and fell down. Dude is going to be over 1,100 soon. He's playing some good chess. Lacrios has graduated numerous times, my friend. We got 2 more. The famous Yao Q is coming up. This guy's got some of the best annotations in the dojo. First up, we got Agon. Agon says, boy, oh boy, has this program been helpful. Playing classical games and annotating them has been helpful. It's tough to always find the time to play, but I'm happy I have been able to do it during the holiday season. I feel like the structure of the program has really helped, and I think my tactics have been improving quite a bit. I still feel like I played too fast, often rushing in critical positions and blundering pieces. But I feel more in control of my decision-making, looking forward to finishing the book from the previous cohort and then jumping into the next one. Great. Look at that. Good work. Has already graduated once before. Looking ready to graduate again, honestly. Yeah. Looking ready to graduate again. Tactics seem on target. Clubs. St. Louis and in Mexico. We got a couple things going on. Let's click here. This looks good. And then we'll click on the games. And then boom, we'll click this one. This one's fairly recent. First classical game against the English. Clock usage. Uh-oh. There we go. Your opponent, I hope you just punished him hard. Just punished him hard, isn't it? Why don't they just play blitz chess if they wanted to do it this way, my friends? All right, so, all right, game review. Yeah, here we go. Don't be scared. Just make some moves. Good move. Good move. Weird. Oh my God. I had read about some interesting gambit called the melon gambit. The father of Anna Cramley. Yeah. Yeah, this B5 is absolutely insane. Notice too that it was your terror of the opening that created this weirdness, right? So what would standard moves be? D6, knight c6, d5, c6. All of these are fine moves. But the most basic ones would be knight c6, d5, and d6. You're doing fine. Now white's significantly better. Now you do, it's kind of interesting. You're not equal. You're not equal, but it's true. White has a little drama. White does have a little drama, so this is a fun game. Queen b3, that looks hard to deal with. Rook b8, queen a4. All right, so he's a pawn grubber. And do we have compensation? Maybe. It's going to be interesting. Bishop f5. Oh, it's getting hot. e4. Whew. And now you consider queen d5 as hot. White, for my sensibilities, is taking too much risk. Rook c8. Oh my gosh. Oh, buddy. And now he goes rook b1. Oh, this is super hot. I'm not sure I understand bishop b4. Check to the miserable king. Bishop g4. And then bishop h3. Yeah, it looks horrendous. Uh-oh. Man, that's rough. That's rough. That's going to cause me to take a break. We're going to go. I'll be right back. Oh, that was brutal, friends. That was truly brutal. Joe Pie. Oh, man. That was brutal. Okay. So we got one more. This is the famous Yao. Let's see what he says. Kind of forgot about the dojo. Dude, Yao was doing great work and lost the structure in my training. I am back in the program and going for structured training as I need to get the most out of my little time for chess. I will post some analyzed games. This graduation is a fresh start. That's what we like to hear, Yao. That's what we like to hear. Yao did some great work. I think Yao is probably in the book too, How to Analyze Your Games. So, 1974, dude is crushing. Dude is crushing. So, 2,500 rated in the survival. Okay. Let's see. Clubs. I think dude is in Brazil. That's just my memory. Games. And this is pretty recent, so let's check it out. Joaquin Arts. So, Pop. Let's see if we've got a time graph. It's a weird time graph, my friends. Let's just take a look. I think this came from putting the times in a little funky. It's a youth team championship. But basically, both players moved very quickly, and somebody probably blundered. All right, so let's take a look. So far, so good. A little weird. Good. 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 So far, theory for me. I know. Now, by the way, Yao Q, according to the program, is correct, can study openings fine. Fine. So let me stress, a lot of people are like, Dojo says you can't study openings. No. When you get to be to the 1900 cohort, it's time to do some opening work. Let's read what he says. I know Max Varmadam recommends this in his Chessable course. I've encountered this before during a qualification against Jail Riringa. I could vaguely remember that knight e2, g3, bishop g2 was a setup that seemed logical to me in combination with the exchange of my black square bishop. Okay, so, well, let's talk about it. The claim with A6 is that it's going to be useful in every IQP situation. Now, Joaquin, what move would I want you to do here? We know the move. We know the move. It's knight F3, my friend. Knight F3. So knight E2 is pretty highfalutin with this whole knight E2 G3 thing. And then you're making me nervous about your bishop being stranded there on F4. So I'm going to go ahead and say knight F3 for sure. In fact, let's do a little something fun. I'll hit our position database. By the way, you guys, dude, we have one of the best databases ever. You join the dojo and use it. Let's just show. So that's the database, knight F3. Got to be the move. Some chumps have played knight E2. D takes C5 is just a plumb mistake, you know. In fact, let's get rid of some of these chump things like rapid. Let's get rid of the blitz. And we'll just be looking at more reasonable games. Yeah, you can see D takes C5. That's a chump move. White's not doing good there. Now this knight E2, look at that. So maybe some people played it. We'll keep an eye on this knight E2. I don't like it. It offends my sensibilities. But okay. So let's go back to the game. Knight C6. G3. Oh my gosh. And now C4 question mark. White now wins D5 by 4. C4 definitely like a loss of time. Very questionable. And he likes CD4 or bishop G4. Makes sense to me. I'm a little nervous here as white, just with my pieces. That bishop seems a little funny to me. So C4 incorrect. Good move. Good move. Good move. Snip, snap. Oh, yeah. E4. The black development delay haunts him. Look at this. Bang, bang. Look at that. That's just good chess. We're slaying this dude. Bang. Dang. Take it easy. That ain't it. You're playing great chess here, man. Beauty. Beauty chess. Dang. Black resigned. Play the opening naturally and do not think too much about exact theoretical moves. This is one of the first games where I do not calculate too deeply in the opening, which definitely saved time and gave me a pretty good position. In the Janowski structure, black wants to take on D4 and be very quick with bishop G4, trading the light square bishop, as otherwise white will get an easy IQP with a lot of pressure on D5. Okay, beautiful game. Beautiful game. And let's do something kind of fun here. I don't know if you'll think it's fun. And Kostya is about to join us. Actually, let me just see if I can hand it off to him here. Where is hello Kostya over here? Hello Kostya. Starting at the top of the hour, question mark. Let's do something kind of fun here, and let's go to this knight E2 move, or C5 rather, and we're going to commit a dojo heresy. A dojo heresy. We're going to turn on the computer just for a second and see what the computer says. I'd be amazed if knight E2 were, it just feels so wrong to me, but we're going to see. Knight F3, it likes a touch better, and it's saying knight E2. Knight E2, it might be even an example of like a computer-based move. Look at that, dude. Look at that. By the way, this whole thing with C4, you can see on knight F3, the computer likes C4. That was in the olden times against the normal Tarrasch. That was called the Swedish variation. It was a real surprise to the old timers that it was even playable. Like, you can't be playing C4. So knight E2 seems directed at stopping C4. And then, you know, we saw that Yao really proved why it was wrong too. So that was really cool. All right, my friends, let's see. Kostya, what does he say? Okay, he's going to ping me in a few. And so what we're going to do, I'm going to say, cool. Just let me know Just let me know. He's going to take over, but we're going to do one quick thing here. People can submit games for us to review, and here we have Semlurk. Let's first click on Semlurk here just to see what's going on with Semlurk. I'm going to give him a follow. Psychiatrist from the U.S. Okay. Beautiful progress. Just started in the dojo. No, actually, no. He started late last year, but just started recently going for it with the heat map over here. So that all looks good. And, oh, Kraai, you're in the wrong. Oh, you really blew it, bud. Sorry about that. Sorry about that. I had the wrong thing on there. So here we go. We're going to click on this game. It's a short game. And first we're going to see, is there a time graph? There is. And we're going to say, even though it's a shortish game, and it's okay when Dojo says, if you're in the lower cohorts, you can play these faster time controls. But this time graph looks fine. We're going to mark this as reviewed. And Semlurk writes, I chose to fully analyze and annotate this short blunder game because I just felt so unsure of myself the entire time and tried to stay principled, but still ended up crushed. After D4, I'm already uncomfortable. Okay, good. Fine. Fine. Well, maybe not fine. So this, I think actually, this is funny. The whole Yobava London thing, I think, has become hyper popular at this level simply because white can throw this trick here with knight b5. And there's very few positions this actually crushes black, but I think in this position, this might be the one. Whoo! Yeah. So white misses it. Okay. Bishop f5. Now you can play rook c8 on knight b5. Bishop d3. Okay, so when I'm put in these positions, I always think, if I take, does this trade help them? Here my answer is yes, we both lose bishops, but they get to further develop their queen. Okay. And you could have played something like e6 or g6, but you could also just take the thing. And yes, the queen gets developed, but it's not the biggest developing move in the world. So, I am thinking this defends and allows me to castle soon, but now I realize this queen is overloaded, protecting c7 and the light square bishop. So I agree with you. Bishop d3 looks good. And then you also talk about e6. Fine. Now, I want to stress that them taking c7 will come at a cost because you are going to be gaining some time when they do it. Right? So, like, if we were going to be scared in this position, it would be snip, snop, and snook. And maybe white's better, but it's got to be said after something like this, and after e6 or e5, you have a development advantage that's not entirely chump change. Okay, but your opponent doesn't see it. And now we want you to take on d3. That's frisky. Me telling myself castle early. This might be okay. Your opponent then plays bishop b5. Now, the one thing we have to recognize is that knight e5 is now a threat. The other thing we should tell ourselves is, oh, bishop b5 was not a developing move. Now, by the way, castles maybe is playable. It's giving me the heebie-jeebies a little bit, okay? But I think it might actually be fine. And bishop b5 is an example of a superficial move that doesn't do it, okay? So what we really, really want here, though, is for you to be aware that knight e5 is the threat. Your opponent isn't aware of it either. Okay, couple things. You could break the pin with, let's say, the weird queen e6. You could also say, oh, bishop g4, just to prevent the knight from doing its knight e5 thing. Maybe, I just don't want to let him in. I don't want to let him in. A6, this is a mistake. He should play knight e5, and then we are toast, really. It's just really bad. It's just really bad. Okay, but he misses it. Does he miss it again? Now he finds it. Queen e8, good move. I think that's your only one. Queen e2, that's frisky. And what is our level of toast now? Okay. By the way, why did this go bad? It's because of this pin over here that the milk has gone bad. Okay, so here we go. I think we are in significant trouble. Good move. And now, what is our level of toast? What is our level of toast? You played bishop b4. Yeah, what is our level of... I think the level of toast is pretty high. I haven't given up completely yet, though. We are toast. We are toast. I'm looking at a variety of things here. Yeah, maybe I can survive with this move. Yeah, I like that move. So I was looking at first at knight b4, but then on queen a5, I'm just terrified. I think it's all over. But knight b8 is clever because I'm protecting this square. If he trades, that's okay with me, right? I'm up a piece. I'm okay with that. So, in fact, I guess I want to say in this position, we probably don't want to play knight takes because knight f7 is a meaner fork. So we'll just give up the exchange this way. And we're doing totally fine here. We're alive in 85. So knight b8, there might be a way for white to win this. Wouldn't be surprising, but it's not going to be super simple for Mr. Temple. Now, the party kind of goes on. I think knight c6... No, knight c6 doesn't do it. We don't want to do this because then he's got this dirty check, and then he's going to whack us, and it's no bueno. But we can play queen c6, and we're having fun in the sun. Knight b8. Now, I think we're alive, dude. I think we're alive. So one of the things I want to stress. Let's go back quick to this time graph. It's true that you didn't have a lot of time left, but this is what we're going to call the critical position. And first of all, you should say to yourself, it looks real bad. And when I first saw this position, I couldn't tell you for sure either whether it was winning or not. It's going to take a moment. And I'm still not totally convinced there isn't some trick for white here. But I think we are living through this thing. That's what it looks to me like. Looks like we're living through this thing. Okay, so Benedek also suggests knight b8, and it looks real interesting. Bishop b4 is not it, though, because he just goes there, and then like queen a6 looks devastating. Knight c6 also looks devastating. Yep. Yep, okay. Main question is, how do I know when to stir things up in the center during this game? Is there a way to avoid a closed position here? Is it better to not just respond with d5? D5's fine. Do not allow yourself to get traumatized out of thinking d5 is somehow a bad move. Let's go back. Fine. Here, honestly, it's only after knight c6 that the knight b5 trick works. Otherwise, you have knight a6. Okay, so like e6 is a fine move, for example. Here he misses his chance. Okay, bishop f5, fine. And here you just need to just say, boss, I'm just going to take that thing. I'm just going to take it. No problem. This is interesting. This is interesting. And this is what you're going to get a lot, is your opponents giving you time. So bishop b5 gives you time, but you have to recognize that knight e5 is a big threat. And your opponent doesn't actually get it either, because here on a6, they should play knight e5 instantly. Okay? And so what's fascinating is, in this position, that you're not completely lost right now. Let's call that the interesting thing about this position. Positionally, it's still bad even if they take, but that was a clever move, and apparently you're not completely done here. I'm still finding it a little surprising, but that's what it seems like because of this miraculous knight b8 move. Okay, you guys, is Kostya ready? Okay, so stay tuned. Okay, handing it over.